Everybody, this is Darren Sabedra again, Bay Area News Group, Mercury News, East Bay Times, here with Christian Babcock, who is a tad under the weather, battling a cold, bundled up. But look who's back. We got Mike Lefkow, who is, many of you know, who follow this, had bypass surgery back, I believe, in late September or mid-September, and he's back and looking great. Welcome back, Mike Lefkow.
Thank you. It's good to be back. That was 7 weeks ago today I had the surgery.
There you go. And he's back just in time for the high school football playoffs, which get underway on Friday night here in the Bay Area and across the region. And we've got our picks, 15 picks. We'll also pick the section champions in each of the divisions. That will not be part of this show. Those will come out either Wednesday afternoon or Thursday morning, depending on when we get them done. But we are picking 15 games here in the first round of the playoffs. Mike Lefkow, you can probably join us again next week. Glenn Reeves filling in admirably for you, has passed Nathan in the standings. So he really wants to win it for you.
Well, you know, Glenn is my elder, so I look up to him.
And today is your birthday, right, Mike Lefkow?
Yes, it is. It is my birthday.
Happy birthday. What spending it with us. I couldn't think of a better
we're going out later. Yeah, we're going out later.
Nice. Very nice. So before we get to the picks, get your thoughts, Mike Lefkow, as you've watched from afar. And what are your thoughts going into this weekend with the football playoffs? What are you most looking forward to?
Well, I mean, I look at right now, you kind of try to figure out who the best team in NorCal is. And to me, obviously, it's De La Salle. I see them, they're going to be the ones ending up playing probably St. John Bosco. But they've got a tremendous team. You look at, I was kind of looking at the Max Preps rankings and the top teams in NorCal. And, you know, Reardon is rated number 3. Pittsburg was rated number 6. That kind of surprised me. I thought they'd be a little bit higher than that, but you know, it's another good year. But right now, De La Salle looks like the standout in Central Coast. I kind of like to see a Sarah Reardon rematch in the championship. They're pretty good. Other things that stood out, you know, we'll see how 10-0 Woodside does in Division 3. Are they for real? Half Moon Bay's got a tough assignment in the first round of Division 4 against Burlingame.
Right.
And but yeah, I was kind of looking at the whole thing, and I think there's going to be a lot of interesting games in the first round.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. Christian, I know you don't have much of a voice, so you'll have to keep it short. But what are you looking forward to this weekend?
Yeah, I'll try to. I'm basically eating the mic on my headset so that hopefully you guys can hear me. But
I can hear you.
Good. Beautiful.
You sound like a basketball coach. So
yeah.
Go.
So yeah, I sound like a basketball coach after a long game. But yeah, I think I agree with Mike. You know, I think the Reardon Sarah matchup is definitely sort of has an impending feel. I mean, you just look at the way Open D1 lines up in the CCS, and you know, it would be shocking to me if we don't see that again. And I think it would be great because I think, you know, Patrick Walsh with 2 weeks to kind of, you know, bank some more strategy, and the way that game played out, you know, I think Reardon kind of had a slow start, so they're probably not going to do that again. But I think Sarah will bring even more to the table next time around. So just a lot of really good matchups, a lot of good teams, and looking forward to seeing how it plays out.
Definitely, and some rematches of Liberty Pittsburgh first round. You know, that is an elimination game. The winner of that game is guaranteed 2 more games the way the Open is set up. Also looking forward to Marin Catholic going to Acalanes. I mean, Acalanes at 10-0. We got Campo Lindo going over to Livermore because of the NCS is kind of. I mean, we've gone over this, Lefty, a number of times. I'm not particularly a big fan of giving. The leagues are so different now than they were 30 years ago or 40 years ago. I'm not a big fan of giving league champions a home game.
No,
I mean, if you're the 8th seed and you're playing the 1, you should not be getting a home game.
No, I agree. I mean, there's no reason that the 8th seed should get a home game just because they were a league champion. I mean, with all due respect to Livermore, I think Camp Lindo came through a little tougher league than Livermore.
Right. It just seems silly. I mean, and I'm with you. With all due respect to Livermore, they've had a great season and did great winning I believe their first league title in 32 years, which, to those kids means something. But I mean, it shouldn't affect the way the bracket is shaped up. I mean, you want the bracket. They always talk about bracket integrity, like in the NCAA tournament, and you wouldn't see them giving the 64th seed a home game because they won, one of the smaller leagues.
Well, another thing to me, and I don't know, a lot of people will disagree, but making sub 500 teams a number 1 seed, I have a little problem with that. I mean, yeah, maybe their schedules were tougher than some of the other teams, but like you look at Division 2 in Central Coast section, I mean, I'm very interested in seeing how Santa Teresa, King's Academy, and Wilcox will fare because, SI and Sacred Heart Cathedral are both 4 and 6.
Right.
And, it'd be interesting to see if Santa Teresa could pull the upset against one of those teams. Or would it be an upset? I mean, Santa Teresa had a terrific year.
Yeah, they've had a great year. Steve Pappen's done a great job over there. So yeah, I mean, we can poke holes at the systems. I mean, both systems are, the eyebrows are raised. I mean, we addressed it in our takeaways from Sunday. I mean, all due respect to Branham, but they just lost to Lee, and Lee finished higher than Branham in the standings in the same league, and Branham got in because of PowerPoints, and Lee is home. That just doesn't, to me, that doesn't make any sense. But
no, that's not fair to Lee. I was reading it, and I raised an eyebrow. And
some of these bylaws get out of their own way. I mean, they got to write language in there. Well, if this happens, then this should, this should be more important than what the original intent of the bylaw says. So
yeah, bylaws are fine, but you got to be a little bit flexible. I mean, Lee really deserves to be in the playoffs.
And that should have been a play-in game, and Lee won in a great game. Lee changed hands 8 times in that game. I mean, Branham, all due respect, has had a very good season. Lee's was, slightly better in that league. So, anyhow, Christian, you want to weigh in, or are you ready to go to picks?
I'm ready to pick some games.
Okay, Christian wants to stay out of this. No controversy.
I just want to keep my voice. That's all I want.
Oh, it's all in fun. No controversy. Watch Branham go on and as a number 1 seed and win a CCS championship. So we'll see. Let's get to the picks. First game on the list. This is Open Division 1 CCS, where Midi will be traveling to San Mateo for a Saturday afternoon game against Sarah. Sarah last year in this spot, I believe that was the Los Gatos game where they lost in the opening round to Los Gatos. Danny Sullivan, the Midi coach, is a former Los Gatos High star who went on to play at Arizona State quarterback. Will Danny get it done, Christian, against Sarah on Saturday?
I love Danny. He's a fellow Sun Devil, and got to throw the fork up for him. But this Sarah team is really good. I mean, Midi's a good team too, but I watched that game the first time, and unlike maybe Sarah Reardon, we'll get into that later, but I don't really see Sarah just has a lot more that they can throw at you. I mean, they have more depth, they have more size, more physicality, and Midi's got some good players, but Sarah's just, it was interesting talking to Adir Ravapati after the Reardon Sarah game. This didn't make the story, but he said, Sarah's just as talented as we are. They're just younger. And, I could see that. I mean, I think Reardon, their talent, I'm not sure Sarah will match that player for player, but I think this Sarah team, I think you wrote this, Darren, they're young and they're getting better and they're very talented and they just have the depth. So I think they're going to win this game.
Right. I think they're a year away from dominating like Reardon has this year. So, but that being said, well, nobody's taking Midi. Everybody's taking Sarah, including the guy in your spot, Mike Lefkow. Do you agree with Glenn Reeves? He's taking Sarah for your team.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think Midi could give him a battle, but when I read the recruiting site, Sarah has a lot of young talent. They're going to be really good in the future.
And it's been a great year for Midi, and hsratings.com's computer reflects that 31-14. So it's not a 48-6 game or anything like that. So we're all taking Sarah. This next one, Christian, you will be at. You need to get well for this game. We got 3 days. Get it done. Get well. Because you'll be at Los Gatos on Friday night for St. Francis at 5-5. Going to be traveling to Los Gatos at 7-3. Both of these teams are incredibly battle tested. I mean, you can't. They're the walking definition of the term battle tested, right?
Yeah, no, they've played. I mean, especially Los Gatos really went out of region with some good teams. St. Francis had some good.
Well, they played St. Francis, played De La Salle, and they played Cathedral Catholic of San Diego. It doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah, they're both very battle tested. I mean, St. Francis kind of played teams out of region, and Los Gatos, I should say, from Southern Cal, like you said, different parts of the state, higher level teams, and Los Gatos went down to Clovis, I think.
Right, they went to the Fresno area to play Clovis. They lost a heartbreaker there. They lost a heartbreaker to SoCal. They beat Liberty. So very impressive resume. Rematch of last year's Division I championship when St. Francis, which was upset by St. Ignatius in the open final, dropped into the D1 final and beat Los Gatos after Los Gatos had impressive wins to get to that point with wins over Sarah and Reardon last year. So no game against Reardon this year for Los Gatos, but they could get St. Francis. I'm taking Los Gatos. I think it'll be tight, but I think the Cats will win. I think they, having been in all those close, tight games, will pay off here with a big W there on their home field. The computer has Los Gatos 31-24. Nathan has Los Gatos. Lefty, your team with Glenn Reeves has Los Gatos. Christian, who do you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Cats too. I think this is a really strong Los Gatos team. I think the fact they're at home helps. I do have a little pause, just the way the D1 championship played out last year, and the way St. Francis was really able to lead on Los Gatos. I don't think they have the same quality caliber of running back. Although Kingston did get hurt in that game last year, and his brother, who's still there now, Motu, was able to pick up the slack. I think it'll be a fantastic game, but I like, especially with Los Gatos at home, I like them to win this game.
Lefty, do you agree with your teammate Glenn Reeves?
I do. I think Los Gatos pulls this one out. It might be close, but I think Los Gatos wins.
So clean sweep for Los Gatos. Next game on the list is Willcox Sacred Heart Cathedral. This is going to be on Saturday afternoon at City College of San Francisco. Willcox, the 7th seed, coming off a pretty eyebrow-raising 14-7 loss to Menlo Atherton last week. They're going to be playing a Sacred Heart Cathedral team that has to be upset itself after getting beat by St. Ignatius. Mike Lefkow, your teammate takes Willcox in an upset. Are you taking Willcox over Sacred Heart Cathedral?
Boy, I was tossing this one back and forth, and I agree with him. I think Willcox is going to pull this one out in a close game. I think it's going to be a real. I mean, I could see this one going overtime. I think this is going to be a real tight game.
Christian, you agree with Team Reeves and Lefkow?
Yeah, Paul Roast and I chatted a little bit about this and just some other things, and what happened against MA. And I think Willcox has an excellent shot in this game, but I'm gonna go with Cathedral. I think playing at home is gonna help them. Really a good contrast of styles. Willcox really likes to hold the ball. I think, last time I was at one of their games, I said the patented 8-minute Willcox drive, sometimes they'll even do like 9 or 10, take almost the whole quarter. So that's going to keep Sacred Heart Cathedral's passing offense on the sideline if they can do that. But like you said, I think there's a bounce back factor with Cathedral. They are not going to be happy after that loss against SI. And as long as they're healthy, I like them to get a bounce back win this week.
All right, computer also taking Sacred Heart. I'm taking Sacred Heart. Nathan's taking Sacred Heart. I think it's going to be close. Real quickly, can you fill us in? I mean, what was Willcox shocked by the result last week?
Yeah, I think they just kind of started slow. They weren't, he said sort of they weren't quite ready to play off the bat. And MA, I mean, I was looking at it. I think Glenn put this in our roundup. MA finished tied for second in the PAL Bay with Wilcox and Menlo, I think, off the top of my head. So MA's kind of had a strong close to the year. Obviously, I think Wilcox would want to have that game back, but I think they're primed to give them a real test. I mean, I was thinking about when they went up to Lincoln last year, and I don't remember what the percentage was, but I think the computer gave Lincoln either a 98 or 99% chance to win, and that game was really close late, and there was a kind of a sketchy, confusing, controversial officiating decision that possibly took away, Wilcox's chance to win the game with a field goal. So I think it's going to be a close game this weekend.
All right, let's speed through a few of these. The next ones, we got TKA Menlo School. I got Menlo. Nathan's got Menlo. Computer has Menlo 26-14. Mike Lefkow, your teammate, has Menlo. Christian, you got Menlo too?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Menlo. One thing I don't know, I've heard, maybe Jack Freehill will play, maybe he won't. So obviously that's a huge factor. But I think the other thing is just kind of Menlo's overall health. I mean, they had a good bounce back against SHP last week, kind of, seemed to take care of business. It wasn't too close, at least the final score, and they did it without Jack Freehill. So, that's a good team, and it's a smaller roster, but if they're healthy, I think they can do some things in the playoffs. So I'm sort of betting on that, and I'm taking them.
Everybody's taking Menlo. This next one, Mike Lefkow, Woodside's 10-0. Are they going to be 11-0 after playing San Mateo on Friday night?
Yeah, I think they'll win that game. It'll be interesting to see how they do in that division, but yeah, I think they started off with a win.
All right. Everybody's taking Woodside. Well, I don't know about Christian, but Woodside for me, Woodside for Nathan. Computer has Woodside 28-17, and Nathan and Glenn Reeves is also taking Woodside. Christian, who you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Woodside too. Spoiler alert, I think they're the class of this division. And I mean, I think this team's really good. What they've done this year after moving up a division and just basically dominating pretty much everyone in the PAL Ocean has been really impressive. So I think they're definitely going to take care of business this weekend.
This next one will wrap up one of these teams' seasons after starting the season against the same opponent, where Half Moon Bay is going to be traveling to Burlingame. Half Moon Bay won the season opener at Burlingame in overtime, 35-32. The computer projects another 3-point Half Moon Bay win. Mike Lefkow, your teammates going Half Moon Bay. Do you think the Cougars get it done on the road against Burlingame on Friday night?
Yeah, I'll go with Half Moon Bay. That division is a rough division. Woodside is 10-0, but man, what do you got? Live Oak, Carmel, MAL on that division. That's a tough division. But I think Half Moon Bay gets the first one. We'll see, but I think it's another close game.
Christian, Half Moon Bay survive round one.
I think so. I've been very impressed with them this year. Just the results they've had. They seem to have, good culture. They bring physicality. They're able to run the ball, and I'm not sure they'll need overtime. I mean, obviously, 3 points would be a close game, but I think they're primed to just kind of take care of business. I'm not predicting, a huge margin of victory, but maybe just a touchdown and relatively drama-free end to the game. But we'll see. But I'm going with Half Moon Bay.
All right, this is a clean sweep for Half Moon Bay. Next one is another CCS game where Christopher, it was a rematch of a game played during the league play, where Christopher is going to be taking on Branham. I didn't look. Did Branham win? Who won that first game, Christian?
I am looking right now.
Okay. While you're looking, it looks like everybody thinks Branham's going to win on this board because the computer has Branham 31-26. Nathan's got Branham. I've got Branham. Glenn Reeves has Branham. Do you agree with your teammate, Lefty? Is Branham going to win?
Yeah, Branham's at home. That's a pretty good 1-8 matchup, though, isn't it?
Not a bad 1-8 matchup. That competitive equity right there.
Yeah, there you go.
Lee's probably thinking it would have been a good matchup with Lee and Christopher.
Well, like I said before, I think if any team has a gripe about this year, Lee has certainly got one. I think most people will back him on that one.
Christian, who you taking?
Yeah, so they beat Christopher 26-14 during the regular season. And I mean, Christopher's grown since then, but I like Branham at home. I think this game's going to be really close. I mean, I could easily see Christopher winning this game. This is definitely not your typical 1-8 matchup.
Yeah, I took Branham. Little skeptical. I think Christopher could sneak in and get the W, but we'll see. Next one, Division 5 CCS Pioneer at 6-4, traveling to Jefferson at 8-2. Jefferson's been very impressive this year. Everybody's taking Jefferson. Well, computer has Jefferson 26-14. The only one who's not is your teammate Glenn Reeves, Mike Lefkow. He's taking Pioneer.
I'm going to have to disagree with Glenn on that one now. I'm going to take Jefferson.
You're taking Jefferson. Christian, who you got?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Jefferson too. I think this is kind of an interesting case study because I remember last year, Gunn, I don't remember what seed they were, but they went to Sequoia, I want to say. Don't quote me on that. But and they struggled. I mean, it was not that close. And that was, a pretty good Gunn team, especially for the PAL Lake. But yeah, I think Jefferson definitely has a good chance to take care of business in this round. I don't know about the next round, but I like them at home in this one.
All right. Now we move on to some of the big ones in the NCS, where this is an open Division 1 game on the open side of the bracket, where Liberty 7-2 or 8-2, excuse me, seeded 7th, traveling to face Bay Valley Athletic League rival Pittsburg, the second seed at 9-1. Pitt won 29-12 over Liberty at Pittsburgh on October 17th. Christian, is it going to be different this time?
No, I don't think so. We'll get into this later, I'm sure, but I think NCS Open D1 is really intriguing with Newman and just, how they've grown. Seeing, that game against Pitt potentially could be really good. But yeah, this one, I mean, Pitt, just their depth and their size, I mean, they can just kind of, I think, roll most teams, and Liberty, unfortunately, is in that bucket. So
yeah, Mike Lefkow, does Liberty have a chance in this game?
Well, they got a chance, a slim one. I still think Pittsburgh wins this game, and I wouldn't be surprised if they win by about 17 to 24 points again.
All right. Computer has them winning by 15 at 35-20. Nathan's got Pittsburgh. I've got Pittsburgh, so a clean sweep for Pittsburgh. This next one has me really intrigued. These teams have played once since 2004. It was a Marin Catholic win in the 2019 NCS playoffs, 7-0. I think it's going to be higher scoring this time. But Marin Catholic at 5-5, traveling to face fourth-seeded Acalanes at 10-0. You got to tip your cap to Coach Isaac over at Acalanes. I mean, to take over from Floyd Burnstead, who did a great job there at Acalanes, and to have the Dons at 10-0. Mike Lefkow, what do you think when you see Acalanes as the fourth seed in the Open Division 1 bracket at 10-0?
Well, I mean, they've had a great year. Then they've got a really good team, great quarterback, lots of speed. They're a good football team. I think they're going to get Marin Catholic at home. I think they're going to win that game. This is a very good football team.
Your teammate agrees. He's taking Acalanes. Christian, do you agree, or are you taking the North Bay Power to pull off the upset?
No, yeah, I'm going to go with Acalanes too. I mean, this isn't a super long trip for Marin Catholic, but I've just been impressed with Acalanes. I mean, like Lefty said, they have the quarterback, they have size, they have good running back, Josh Elertz. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But they got a really good team. I mean, they've sort of established themselves now as the class of the DAL, which I know some people sort of like to rag on Clayton Valley now that they're not that. But I think Acalanes, is just that good. And I think they're going to show it this week.
All right. Clean sweep for Acalanes, including the computer, which has Acalanes winning 31-22. This next one on the list, we're California, which on Selection Sunday was a little nervous. I know that they were going to end up as the 8th seed in the Open Division 1 bracket because of their win over San Ramon Valley. Thought they were going to be placed in the Open Division 1 bracket to run into the wall known as De La Salle. Well, they happily fell to the 3rd seed in Division 2, where they're going to be hitting the road to face a very good American Canyon team at 9-1. So good, in fact, that the computer has American Canyon winning this one 28-27. Mike Lefkow, is California going to pull off the victory on the road Friday?
Well, the thing is, I'm not sure what's gone wrong for California. They've lost 3 in a row coming into this thing.
Well, one was De La Salle, right?
Well, yeah, one was De La Salle, so maybe that doesn't count. But I mean, still they're not playing well right now. And American Canyon is a good football team. They've got to go up there and play them. I'm gonna go with American Canyon to win.
Your
this
teammate
game.
Is too. You guys are thinking alike. Your
Old guys think alike. I mean, that's the thing. We're both old, so we both think alike.
He has American Canyon winning. This is American Canyon's only loss was to St. Vincent de Paul, and that was 27-21. California is putting up points. I'm a little concerned about its defense, but their quarterback threw for 5 touchdowns last week against Amador Valley in a 42-35 loss. So, and then they got beat. Monte Vista beat them, right?
Right.
Yeah.
What is Cal's injury situation? Have they lost a number of guys due to injury?
I think they've had some line issues, injuries, I think. But Christian, is California going to survive and come back home with a trip to the semifinals?
Yeah, I think they will. To answer your question, Lefty, yeah, I know talking to Danny Calcagna, they've had some issues with injuries on the line and just kind of cumulative, over the season. I think that's kind of been weakened. But I don't know. I can't get out of my head, the game I saw them against McClymonds, they looked really good. And I feel like they're going to be prepared. Maybe they're not going to be 100% healthy, but I think they're going to get all the kids they can ready to go. And I don't know. I think it'd just be sad to see what was, the start of a really great. It's still a solid season, but the way they started 7-0, the teams they were beating, the way they were controlling games. So I think they're going to keep it going for at least one more week.
All right. I'm taking California. Nathan's taking California, and the computer has American Canyon 28-27. This next one on the list, another tough one to pick, where Amador Valley is going to be visiting Monte Vista. Monte Vista is the 2 seed. Amador is the 7 seed. But these teams just played on Halloween, and Amador won by 3 touchdowns. So it makes sense that they're the 7th seed and Monte Vista is the 2nd seed. Same with the other. Well, we talked about Livermore and Campo. California's the 3 seed in this bracket, but they got to hit the road because American Canyon won its league. So, Mike Lefkow, is Amador Valley going to do it again to Monte Vista?
Amador is playing pretty well now after a slow start, so I wouldn't discount it. But I like that Monte Vista team. They've got some talent. I like the way they play. I know that they've had some ups and downs this year, but I think Monte Vista is going to go ahead and take this game in the first round.
Your teammate has AV, so I'm sorry. Next week you could take over from him, but he's got Amador Valley winning.
It's not a bad pick. I mean, this is to me is a toss-up game almost.
Well, it is a very toss-up. I mean, the computer has Amador winning 28-27. I have Amador winning in a very tight game. Nathan's got Monte Vista winning. So, Christian, I guess you're going to be the tiebreaker here. Who's winning this game?
Yeah. So my initial lean was Monte Vista. With them being at home, they've had some good wins down the stretch. But yeah, the fact that they lost to AV by 3 touchdowns, and I mean what AV has done to finish the year. I mean, after starting 0-4, seems like they really hit their stride. I know they had a lot of kids out. Some 2A guys. I think Danny Jones said on Twitter they had 7 2A guys out at one point, and I don't know how many of them are back, but clearly enough to have some really good results. So I think they're in a good spot. I mean, I think this will be a good game, but I'm going to go with AV. I think they're going to beat Monte Vista.
I mean, they went on the road last week and won at California, and their running back gained over 300 yards. Yeah,
they're rolling right now. So they're in a good spot. And MV's, they've closed the season well too. But
right.
I think AV's got this one.
Okay. A few more games on our list. We got Windsor against Clayton Valley, also in Division 2. Clayton Valley is the 4th seed. Windsor is the 5. Both of these teams are no strangers to the NCS playoffs. Lefty, your teammate took Clayton Valley. Was he right?
I think he is. Again, another close game, but yeah, I'll go with Clayton Valley.
Christian?
Yeah, I like Clayton Valley at home this one. I think, like we talked about, maybe they're not what they were, but what they are, now is still a very solid team. And, as it gets colder, I think you put this in something recently, as it gets colder, running the ball is always a great asset. And they got maybe the best running back in our area in Gatos Lucky. So that's always a great asset to have.
Exactly. That's why I'm taking Clayton. Computer has Clayton winning 35-24. Nathan Canilao, who returns from paternity leave on Saturday, is taking Windsor.
Not a bad pick. I've seen Windsor a couple times in the playoffs, and they're a fun team to watch, and they're very well coached.
There you go. 2 more games on our list. This next one, we talked about it earlier in the show. We're number 1 seed Campo Lindo at 8-2. It's going to have to hit the road, drive down 680. And then make a left and go into Livermore to play the 8th-seeded Cowboys at 9-1. Computer has Campo winning 28-17. I got Campo. Nathan's got Campo. Glenn Reeves has Campo. Do you agree with Glenn, Lefty, that Campo's going to win this one?
Sure do. Yep, Campo.
All right. And Christian?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Campo. I agree. It's very odd looking to see number 1 at number 8. I mean, it at least in this case, it's relatively close by. I'm sure there are situations, I don't recall one off the top of my head, but where maybe an East Bay team would have to go up to like Ferndale or that would just be crazy. So this is a little closer to home, but I think Campo is going to take care of it.
All right. One last game on the list were Celesian. This is Division 5. Celesian, the 3 seed. So this is the way the new NCS system set up, because in the old days, Celesian would not be playing a school the size of Northgate in the playoffs, correct, Lefty?
Definitely not. It'd be interesting to see what Chad Nightingale would say about this matchup.
So Celesian is going to be opening the Division 5 playoffs against Northgate. Northgate's 5-5 coming out of the DAL, and Celesian's at 9-1 with its only loss to El Cerrito. Celesian's had a great year, but the entire board, we don't know Christian's pick, and I don't know yours either, Lefty, but I've got Northgate. Nathan's got Northgate. The computer has Northgate 35-31. Glenn Reeves has Northgate. Lefty, do you agree with Glenn? Are you taking Northgate?
I'm going to go with the upset in this one and take Celesian. I think it's going to be a real close game, but they're playing at Celesian, and I could see this game going right down to the wire and being a 1-point difference. But I'll go with Celesian in this one.
Go with Celesian. Christian, who do you got?
Yeah, this kind of strikes me as, the typical, higher division team with a mediocre record gets slotted into one of these low divisions and just, rampages through everyone. So I think Northgate is gonna start with beating Celesian this week.
All right. That is 15 games. Christian, you still lead the standings. You've stretched your lead to 2 games over me. I think the team of Lefty and Glenn Reeves is pulled into 3rd place, 5 games back, I believe, and Nathan is bringing up the rear at about 6 games back. Glenn Reeves had a great week last week, along with Christian going 13-2. So we'll see if anybody can top that this week. Mike Lefkow, you have any closing shots before we wrap this up?
No, I'm looking forward to it. I think there's some interesting first round matchups, some interesting seedings. Yeah, I don't know. I'll say one thing. My cardiologist, he went to Piedmont Hills, so I'm sure he'll be rooting hard for Piedmont Hills in this thing.
I think they'll survive. We didn't have that on our list, but they open up against San Jose, which is a great story. San Jose making the CCS playoffs for the first time, but they're going to be going up against the Piedmont Hills team that I think is just plays at a higher level. So if I were picking, I would say Piedmont Hills will win, and your cardiologist will be happy. Christian, parting shot.
Yeah, I'll agree with you there, Darren. I think San Jose, God bless them, they've had a great season, and it's great to see them first time in the CCS. But like Gunderson last year, I think the B-Val West Valley, it's just some of these leagues are on different levels, and they're going to struggle probably this week, but good luck to them. But I'll just say I think it's interesting. There are a few young quarterbacks in our area. I know Miramonte's got a sophomore. I don't know if he's going to be the one who plays this week. But watching William Orr at Sarah last week against Reardon, they didn't even play him the whole game. And he had a big-time throw to Charlie Walsh late in that game for a touchdown that I think tied it. He either tied it or brought him within 7. Yeah. So, I mean, and he's, he wears number 5. He reminds me a little bit of Jaden Daniels. So I think, he will have a chance to kind of emerge. And I think there will be a number of young players on Sarah and just on other teams. They'll have a chance to emerge in the playoffs. So looking forward to seeing that.
All right. My parting shot is welcome back, Mike Lefkow. Glad to have you back. You sound great. You look great. And I'm sure the high school football community will enjoy seeing this show with you on it. So
I hope so.
All right. That is a wrap.